Hello again from Central Virginia. Today, I'm gonna transplant some tomato seedlings out. I did a video last week about my tomato rescue. That's now about 2 weeks ago that I did that, 2.5 weeks ago. And these plants, I'm just gonna go ahead and put them in. We have a very warm spell here. We're well past our frost date. And these plants are just gonna take off in the soil because the soil is nice and warm. It is the soil temp, not the air temp, that matters mainly when it comes to growing your warm weather crops. So it's warm, the air's warm, the soil's warm, and I'm going to go ahead and plant them. So let me tell you what I'm going to plant today. These tomato seedlings were planted about the 25th, 26th of March. They were very stunted, and about 2.5 weeks ago, I did a intervention with them. You can see that video. Wasn't anything fancy, but it did the trick to get them really going, and now they're going to be put out. So I have a lot of different kinds of tomatoes here, and many are new to me. I'm going to be planting some Dbruza, and which are here. That's a new one for me, and some Cherokee Purple. I haven't had good luck with Cherokee Purple germinating before, but these ones wanted to germinate. These are Old Virginia, which is also new to me, so that will be exciting. I have something called a Kellogg Breakfast. That's right here. That's growing really well. And I'm going to be planting one I have done. The Kellogg Breakfast is new to me. One I haven't done before is one I have done before is the Mountaineer Pride. That's this one right here. They all look the same, so it's important to have them tagged. I'm going to plant a couple of varieties of cherry tomatoes. This one I grew last year. It's called Little Sweetie, although it grows pretty tall, but the cherry tomatoes are relatively small in this one. Now here's one that I totally love. It's a cherry tomato, but it's a large cherry tomato. It's not super sweet, but it's very meaty, which I find unusual for a cherry tomato. And what I really, well, I make these many different ways, but when I have a whole bunch of them, I'll make sauces, and they cook down really, really well, almost like a sauce tomato. The other thing I love to do with these is to dry them, and they are delicious. They kind of change character, and it brings out a sweetness in them, as well as that depth of flavor. So this is called Purple Bumblebee, and it is, well, I should say, in the past 2 years, it has been super, super productive for me. So I'm planting a couple of those as well. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is a no-dig garden. You can see it's the field behind me. I built my this garden, started about 5 years ago, right on top of this field. I did not dig, I did not plow, I did not rototill. Everything was just made by layering cardboard sometimes or not, compost, weed barriers, and then keeping everything well mulched, and the pathways tended with big thick layers of wood chips. So I keep saying I'm not going to expand it anymore, but you know, I keep expanding it. So my garden is oriented, behind me is south, and that is where I'm going to start planting this row of tomatoes. I'm going to do this whole southern area, the southern fence and the southeastern fence, with my indeterminate tomatoes. Those are the ones that just keep growing and growing and growing and producing. And I'm going to put some determinate tomatoes in a few other places, but not today. So let's get going. In each planting hole, I'm going to put a little bit of coffee. No, it's not coffee. This is my organic granular fertilizer. It's just a low level 3-4-3 NPK, and I will throw a little bit of that into each planting hole. I have also already planted several of my basil plants around. I always companion plant my tomatoes with basil and also with marigolds. And that just really helps, I think. Well, first of all, it looks gorgeous. It smells delicious. And I think it helps some with pest management as well. So let's get going with this planting. It's pretty easy. Now this soil has been prepped really well in the fall. It has been prepped with alfalfa pellets that adds a lot of different enzymes to the soil and nitrogen. And it's been prepped with some a big heavy layer of compost. And it is really ready to go. So it really doesn't need fertilizer. I think I'm going to put Mr. Purple Bumblebee right here so that he has room to really go all over the place. Now, I'm going to plant these fairly far up. I'm actually going to pull off this, this leaf, which might sound sacrilegious. And I'm going to pull off this leaf. And I'm going to pull off the first leaves here. And all of that little fuzz those will become roots. So I'm going to plant this. This is one of the few plants you can plant way, way, way up. I'm going to plant it all the way up to there. And that's going to give some additional room for roots to grow. You can see how fertile this earth is, how nice and rich it is with that compost in there. Throw in a little bit of my organic granular fertilizer to the bottom of the planting hole, and I'll mix that in well. Then I'm going to plant purple bumblebee. Okay, let's go in here, little guy. You're going to be so happy to get in the ground. Let's firm it in really well. Cover it up. Oh, this can go even further up. When I'm done planting all of these, I'll come along with some fish emulsion, and I'll water it in with fish emulsion just to give it an extra boost and help it get over any transplant shock that it might have. I'm going to put a marigold in right here. I'll just part that mulch out, dig in a bit. I'm going to put in the Cynette lemon drop marigolds because they are really powerfully smelly. I'm just going to sprinkle some seeds in here, cover them up about 1/4 inch, tap them in really well, and then we will water those in as well. So I will have some lemon balm back here, some mint, some of the basil over here, marigold here, tomato. I've got basil down there. So we'll just continue to plant on down the row. Well, I got a whole lot of tomatoes planted. How many tomatoes did I plant? I planted 14 different kinds of tomatoes, which is probably a record for me. But I'm really excited because some of them are like the green zebras and all kinds of tomatoes. And I still have more tomatoes to plant. If you love to garden and you're passionate about gardening, you're passionate about the food that you grow, you love to cook it, this might be a channel for you. Those are my 2 passions in life, in addition to my family, of course. So consider liking, consider subscribing, and do share this channel with others because that will help me grow. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're well. Take care. Bye.